Today we had the release of the second PV for Needy Girl Overdose, and with it, a statement made by the original creator, kind of easing a lot of concerns surrounding both, yes, their involvement with the project itself, and additionally, yes, potential censorship that could have came to the project, stating that the staff absolutely don't want to let the fear of regulations ruin what makes the work compelling, fully understanding sort of what is involved with this project and trying to bring that project to life. Now, I will admit, a lot of the statements made seem to be kind of bolstering it up quite a bit, so I hope that it meets those expectations, but let's actually dive into what was actually stated. Yes, this is a very long post for those that have actually seen it, so I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I do welcome people to check it out. I think if you do have some sort of love for the series, the actual original visual novel, or additionally just want a little bit of encouragement as to the insights into how people view the world, I think there's a lot of really interesting and compelling things in here, but we're going to focus on this beginning part because it's specifically about the anime. They say, comment, as a result of pouring absolutely everything from the 30 years I've been alive into this project, every last element, from self-harm to drugs, religion, and sex, got flagged during the review process. Each time it happened, the anime staff worked hard to keep the vision intact, insisting we absolutely don't want to let the fear of regulation ruin what makes this work compelling, and they kept pushing. Thanks to that, the Needy anime has been coming together in an almost undiluted, straight from the bottle form, seeing the staff's passion and depth of understanding and how strongly they believe that concept of Needy Girl has a reason to exist in this world, and that there are certain expressions only this work can depict. I'm now fully certain of this project's value. When the voice actors performed the scripts I'd written so nakedly and frankly, there were moments when someone, fully immersed, would start crying. In that instant, I realized what this work is depicting, in the end, is human beings. I have to say, at this point, please don't talk this up too much. Already based on these two paragraphs right here, we're really talking up this anime project that's going to be something extremely compelling and just gut-wrenching. Absolutely gut-wrenching. But I do want to emphasize here, I do like the fact that they're expressing here that there was a lot of fears of, yes, very kind of edgy content here, stuff that normally is frowned upon to be expressed in media, things that unfortunately people don't want to acknowledge. These things exist in the world, and unfortunately a lot of regulations want to keep a lot of this stuff from being on television, especially for Japan drugs. They really don't like drugs. But a lot of this stuff is kind of frowned upon in being media, so it does seem like there is a push to have this stuff included, which I think is great. I think we're seeing a lot of cases where staff are kind of coming forward and saying, this is the original vision, we want to stick to this. Takapi's Original Sin. Within the last year, we had Takapi's Original Sin, and I love that opening message that comes up on the screen when you first open it up. This stuff tackles some really tough subjects, but we want to make sure we cover it all, because that's what the original creator did, and we want to respect that vision. And it seems like that's the same case for this as well, which, yes, for a lot of people watching this that may have not seen anything in between here, this is sort of shocking to see that they know this, because it did seem like back in November, there was a statement made by the original creator saying that they were no longer involved in the project, which was a little bit of a shock for a lot of people. You have the anime adaptation being announced for Needy Girl Overdose, and then you have over here the author going, I'm not involved anymore. It's like, wow, what are we even getting ourselves into? But yes, if you do technically look into the statement that was made by them, they emphasize the idea that, yes, they were involved with the project all the way up until what they claim was the final moments of the production. Like, they were there all the way into pretty much the end, at which point it seems like the owners of the property itself wanted to kick them out. But they also stated in here that the anime staff, the people actually working on the anime, wanted them involved. They were upset about the whole situation. They wanted them actively involved, which is really great, because it does seem like, I'm assuming at some point between this statement being made and this new PV announcement, that something was figured out, that they were able to be brought back on board and they were able to experience the entire production of this, because obviously for a lot of people, the involvement of the original creator, I think, is the most important thing for most anime. If I can have every single anime have the original creator involved with it, I would say yes, because I think they're the best person to sort of question if there's some sort of issue with how it's going to be brought into a visual format, and giving it audio, giving it cues. They know in their mind their vision for the project, and thus they can give a full perspective on how to fill in those gaps that would normally come from something going from one medium to another medium. Well, they didn't have a sound here. Would you want a sound here? Yes, we can now create that sound there because it's no longer this medium. Stuff like that. We also got a statement made by the producer. Nyara, the creator, said last year, Yostar Pictures and Aniplex have given us their full cooperation and support regarding the incident that caused me mental distress, which again, that would be that whole situation with them being pulled from the project. Right now, we too are pouring our hearts and souls into the production site, desperately working to get even a little closer to the ideal animation we envision. I swear that we will run all the way to the broadcast finish line in order to repay the souls of producer Kimura, who stepped forward and declared his determination. Again, I'm assuming that Kimura actually came forward and got them pulled back on the project, which again, I think is absolutely awesome. But yeah, the producer says, on behalf of everyone involved in the production, I would like to share a message with all of our fans. The anime project officially began in February of 2023. That said, this was simply the date when I personally reached out to Saito to discuss an anime adaptation. In truth, the idea of adapting it into an anime has been quietly moving forward long before that. Even earlier than that, I believe this project truly began the day that Nyara, Inaki, and Yostar Pictures happened to meet by chance at a cafe. Since then, many things have happened. There were 2 a.m. scenario meetings. The original script handed to us by Nyaru felt that as if it were written in his own blood. It pierced straight through my heart. Each time I heard impressions from Saito and Inagaki in the Aniplex conference room, I remember how Nyara, despite his exhaustion, would look genuinely happy. And that's a sad part of like bringing up the whole idea that they were removed from the project. Again, that kind of shows how this frustration hit them when they were removed from the project. Like, no, hell no. They're involved. Get them back in this project. I do hope that someday something comes out with like a full breakdown of what happened. I'm sure that Nyata has kind of stated a lot of this stuff on their blog. I just haven't actually gone through and checked every single one of their posts to see like if they have actually kind of inserted bits here or there, but it would be interesting to kind of look at the entire process. Casting auditions began. The anime visuals gradually took shape. New sounds were born. Voice actors breathed life into the characters in the recording studio. Little by little, Needy Girl Overdose as an anime began to gain definition. At first, scenario meetings involved 4 people. Before we knew it, the number of people involved in the project grew over 100. After that, many more things happened. I won't get into the details. There's only one thing I want to convey. We are putting everything we have into making this anime. Again, there's a lot in here that kind of gives me impression that either they're talking it up, because, I mean, let's be honest, it's a new anime project. They want to give people hyped up and everything. But again, it does seem like based on sort of the statements made by Nyara, I hope I'm saying that name right, the statements made by Nyara that there was a lot of conflict that was happening in the background. There was regulations they obviously have to kind of run into. Again, I state this every single time. I try to remind people. We always kind of have this feeling that Crunchyroll censoring everything. But there's a lot of changes happening in Japan where, yes, a lot of things aren't allowed on television. TV broadcast. So they are having to kind of dial back a lot of stuff based on where it's actually broadcasting and time slots. And they probably ran into a lot of those issues while making the show just because of a lot of the content that it's covering. And it does seem like they're trying to push back on that stuff. Hopefully, again, with all this talking up, this delivers. Because again, they're talking this stuff up like crazy. Hopefully it delivers. Me personally, I've only kind of watched people play through the beginning segments, a lot of the visual novel, so I'll be coming in this pretty fresh, and I'm kind of excited to see what comes of it. But either way, that's sort of the statements that were made. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, hope you found it informative. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you like this content you want to support time more, become a member. Until next time, take care.